Today we're going to be talking about nail tips. Two Guys nail tips, no C-curve, triple XL, and the Beyond nail tips, double XL. So these are the Two Guys triple XL, no C-curve for $9.99 that I purchased from the Two Guys shop online. I realize I just said Two Guys like 5 times. I'm going to go ahead and pull out some sizes. Probably going to test the thumb just because that's a lot easier. Usually I can tell right away whether or not things are going to fit me well, if they fit my thumb well, as I have wide nail beds, and usually my thumb is a telltale. So I'm going to go ahead and take the ones. As you can tell, I'm voiceovering, and I don't remember what numbers I picked. So we're going to go ahead and take the ones. Now that I see what number I had picked, and we're going to go ahead and test that. So actually when I was testing this, it felt good. And I'm using, I guess good would be lack of a better term, just because to be honest, they didn't feel any different than any other tip, which is a good sign. Which means it doesn't feel tight, it fits sidewall to sidewall. The zero pretty much ran similar to how my Beyond nail tips ran, which means they kind of probably have that same sizing and fit. Now, one thing I did notice is that my triple XLs happen to be the same size as my double XLs, if not just a centimeter off. Now, I was a little put off by this, if not disheartened, just because I was really excited to have something a little bit longer than the double XL. But at the same time, it could just be whatever vendor that they use, that is their triple XL, which is perfectly fine. I do realize and know that each company is going to have their own set of sizes and things like that, which is perfectly fine and acceptable. I am going to let you know that the clearer run is going to be the one from the Beyond nail supply store in my local area, and the slightly cloudy one is going to be the one from the Two Guys shop. Now again, they are going to look very different just because one is going to have an exaggerated C-curve, which is the one that is below, and the other is going to not feature a C-curve at all, which is the one that's on top. As you can see, they look very, very different. One is super shiny, and again, the other one's kind of got that frosted gloss sheen to it. Now, I don't think that this is a problem at all. As always, depending on your medium of choice, you're always going to take off that shine or roughen up the surface regardless, so I don't think that that's a big deal either. Again, this is me kind of just letting you guys see the difference between that C-curve and that non-C-curve. And I actually kind of like it. And this is coming from somebody who's done nothing but C-curves for about 3/4 of my nail tech tenure. So it was actually interesting to see. I'm actually really excited to go ahead and get these tried on, just because I think they are actually going to look really good. I'm going to go ahead and put these on a black surface that's hopefully a little bit clearer than using that card, just so that way you guys can actually see the size comparison that I'm talking about here. So when I say that they're centimeters apart, I do mean that they're centimeters apart. They pretty much look to be the same length. Why that is, I'm not too sure. Again, we can speculate all day, but I'm assuming it's just whatever vendor that they were using, that is going to be their triple XL. But it is a little bit longer than my double XL by possibly a centimeter or two. But as you can see, they're fairly, if not super similar in size. I think that was the only thing that was the downside to these nail tips. And here are the curves, just so that way you can see exactly what the non-curve looks like. It's more of like that natural, soft arch that a natural nail would have, and the other one's going to be obviously more exaggerative. In addition to that, I did want to test the thickness. Just because occasionally what you can do with C-tips, which is really cool, is you can bend them a little bit, so that way you can try to get that Russian almond shape. Here, as you can see, the two shapes are fairly different. One is obviously going to be wider, just because I do have the ones that have that exaggerated C-curve. In addition to that, you can see one is a little bit thicker, but they both are fairly sturdy. They didn't really have a lot of bend to them, which I definitely did appreciate, just because I'm not gonna lie, it could be pretty rough on my nails, especially if I'm trying to play a video game or two. I have been known to break a few, In fact, I've cut off a few just so that way I can win a match. I guess that's just a testament to where my priorities lie. But again, these were $9.99. Overall, 9 out of 10. The only thing I'm still wholly disappointed would be its length, just because if you are going to tell me that something is a triple XL and I happen to have a myriad of double XL sizes and it's not longer than that, I'm going to treat it like a double XL. However, this is my opinion alone. I do understand that this is possibly due to the vendors and their own personal sizing. I am going to advise that anybody looking to have a 10 in the bag, there is no 10. The two guys' nail sizes go from 0 to 9, which is perfectly fine as those are the most common sizes. And again, they run pretty true to size as they fit comfortably on my thumb, sidewall to sidewall, as I imagine the rest of the sizes will. I did go ahead and use these in a set, which I am actually excited to show you, because not only did I use these new tips from two guys, but I also did end up using the chrome pen, the Chrome Aurora pen from the two guys, in a set that you guys will be seeing shortly, as I really just wanted to see how the tips looked on, as well as if they looked as good as the C-curve did for my hands, as my hands are quite chubby, as you can see, which is why I go with that shape. So I do recommend that for anybody. If you have fatter or chubbier fingers, I highly recommend you try a coffin or a stiletto, as it will help taper your finger. Normally, when you are doing chrome and things like that, you would either have a clear, white, or black base. Originally, I was going to do a black base. However, something caught my eye and I decided I would like to try this instead to see how they complement each other. And I chose a very dark purple, almost like a purple black, if you will, maybe like a black cherry hair dye where it's red in the sun. These nails are pretty much the equivalent, but with a purple sheen, so they look black without proper lighting. But I figured that would be conducive to the chrome pen as well. I just wanted to see if it would react a little bit differently than a normal black would. In hindsight, I realized I probably should have just used black, because I think the results are the same. Now, this does not take away from the product. It just lets you know that any dark color is suitable for these chrome pens, as you can get a myriad of designs and effects out of them. So once I've coated my entire hand in that beautiful purple, by Joya Mia, I will put the name in below, just because unfortunately it does escape me at this time. However, I will provide all of the things used in this video in the description box below, just so that way if you would like to try them for yourself, you're more than welcome to. So once I've gotten that color on there and I've top coated the fingers that I've elected to have the chrome on, you'll see me kind of do the chrome application. Which was fairly interesting just because this is the first time I've used a chrome pen before. So it was quite a joy to use the little applicator, especially since it's packed on there so tight. Once you take it out, it's pretty much covered in that powdered pigment, and I love it. You get so much, you're not wasting, there's no fallout. It's efficient, it's clean. You can do pretty much an entire nail of my length or shorter with just one dip into that cap with that powder, which you guys are going to see shortly here after I'm done cleaning up my cuticles and making sure that there's no excess gel in the fingers. Okay, so now that everything's pretty much covered and I've put the top coat where I would like it to go, once I take this out, I'm just gonna rub away. I do apologize for some of it being cut out. However, I had to apply a little bit more pressure than I was doing originally, just because I think I may have been a little bit too feather light. However, it was not a problem to go back over it and adjust it. So once I've completed that finger there, you'll be able to see you go back and do the pinky. But as you can see, it really only took one dip of me putting it back in there. So in the cap, there's a spring that pretty much helps push the powder into that kind of sponge applicator, so that way it's compacted in there. And so that way you're taking all of that chrome powdered pigment and it's going right onto the nail. You're not getting any, like I said earlier, there's no fallout, there's no cleanup, you're not losing product. In fact, if anything, this makes you use the product more efficiently. I did like how clean the application was. It wasn't all over the place. Occasionally, if you're using a makeup applicator to do this, you might get it on your fingers and things like that. So pretty much all in all for this one, I am also going to kind of give this a 10 out of 10. Now this could be the nuance in the fact that this is my first time using it, so maybe I'm a little bit excited and slightly biased, but I enjoyed it and I love the results. You'll actually be able to kind of see the kind of simplified set that I ended up doing on my right hand, just because I'm not left hand dominant, so I tend to be a little bit simpler. But all in all, tips 9 out of 10. Chrome pen 10 out of 10. Definitely would recommend this to anybody who is looking to try something different or have something a little bit more efficient in their kit.